What up, what up, what up? We back with the latest edition of Ness-XT, starring me, your boy True Hill Ness. Yeah, guys, it's been a minute, but back with another episode, finally. With everything going on in the world right now, the coronavirus shaking up, just not even just the wrestling world, just the world in general, I want to take my chance to thank, all these wrestlers, not even just NXT and WWE, but, any promotion that's still out there performing, putting on shows for us, regardless of, how we feel about these promotions and, these people, it really is, just shows like how much they actually care to, still continue to put these shows on for us and, just go out there and perform regardless if there's a crowd or not, so the crowds that can't be there in person, they're at home watching, just like we were all home watching tonight's episode of NXT. Without further ado, we're going to get right into it. So, the opening match on this episode of NXT was the Velveteen Dream versus Bobby Fish. Decent opening match, nothing too crazy. A lot of showboating and what's the word I'm looking for? Can't really think of the word, but dream being dream. Little back and forth action from the beginning of the match. As the match progressed, Bobby Fish, he kind of starts getting into his zone, working on the left leg of Velveteen Dream. That's Bobby Fish's wheelhouse, with his MMA background, the strikes and his submission game. He was looking to take Velveteen Dream out, with his leg. But as that match went on, like I said, Bobby Fish had the upper hand, working on the left leg of Velveteen Dream for quite some time in that match, only for him to lose to the Dream Valley Driver. Match again was okay, nothing too crazy. I wouldn't say it was bad. It was a fair match. It was just fair. Like, it wasn't nothing to, write home about, and it wasn't nothing to just scoff at. It was what it was. After the match, the Velveteen Dream, cut a little promo on Adam Cole, NXT champion, telling him, to put down the video games. If you follow Adam Cole on any social media, you know that he's an avid gamer. So pretty much Velveteen Dream is just saying, don't worry about these video games. Worry about the experience that's coming after you in that NXT championship. Moving on. The next segment on this episode of NXT was a backstage promo with Malcolm Bivens, formerly known as Stokely Hathaway. If you're familiar with his work in ROH and Evolve. So, very good promo guy, and settle into this managerial role with this new tag team. I don't know their name. I know their names are, I think, Raku and Sarif. I really couldn't make out the name of the tag team, if they even mentioned it. I don't even know if they mentioned it or not. But yeah, these guys, two big, like beastly looking individuals. Last week they attacked Matt Riddle, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions, with him and Pete Dunne. So they're just out there pretty much making a claim towards the NXT Tag Team titles. This group is, as of right now, I don't know their tag team name, but Malcolm Bivens is just Bivens Enterprises. So as of right now, that's the name of this trio, is just Bivens Enterprises, until I get a legit tag team name, because again, I didn't hear that shit. But yeah, I like to see where this goes. Like I said, these guys look like a threat. Don't know as far as what they're going to look like in the ring, as far as an actual match, because we've seen big, scary looking dudes before, and they couldn't work for shit. So, again, I'm not going to judge as of yet. I am interested because I am a fan of Malcolm Bivens. So, we're going to see where it goes from there. Next on the card was Dexter Lumis versus Jake Atlas. Again, nothing really to write home about. Wasn't really a squash match, but Jake Atlas he got like minimum offense in. You know, he got his offense in, but mainly this match belonged to Dexter Lumis, and he won via submission after a Uranagi into like some type of chokehold. Again, really wasn't nothing exciting or anything that I cared about as far as that match. So, I mean, you can skip it, honestly. If you don't want to watch that match, then you didn't miss anything. The only thing I really like about Dexter Lumis is his entrance music, his entrance theme, because it sounds like something out of Stranger Things, and I love Stranger Things. So, other than that, then you ain't miss shit. Alright. Next on tonight's show, they showed the video package. Is obviously Killer Cross. They're, people that are familiar with Killer Cross, the NXT commentary team, they're just, oh my goodness, what does this mean? The ticking time bomb, all that. We know it's Killer Cross. We can see it in the for people that know are familiar with Killer Cross, which more than likely is 90% of the NXT fan base. They know who he is. So we're just waiting until he makes his debut. Next after that, they just recapped the fight, the NXT Full Sail brawl between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, and they announced that next week these two will be facing off in one final beat, which I doubt it will be the final time that these guys face each other, because in typical WWE fashion, main roster fashion that is, they like to overdo shit. I don't even think these guys should be in another feud with each other, but apparently some people feel as though things never settled because of Tommaso getting injured, so this is what we're doing now. But yeah, they just recapped the fight that these guys had a couple weeks ago at the Full Sail, the WWE Performance Center, where they just caused mad fucking wreck and mad damage. So, yeah. Alright, so next match on the card was the 6-woman gauntlet match. The first entrance of this match was Deonna Purrazzo versus Shotzi Blackheart. I'm just going to run through this. Shotzi Blackheart beat Deonna Purrazzo, Xia Li, Kaden Carter, and Aaliyah. Nobody gives a fuck about Aaliyah. The things I like from Shotzi Blackheart in those matches, she pretty much was using a cattle mutilation. If you're familiar with the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, aka Daniel Bryan, from his days in Ring of Honor, he used a submission move called the cattle mutilation. I got those type of vibes from that. Shotzi just has a lot of energy. She pretty much was controlling all the matches. They really weren't that long. Obviously, it's a gauntlet match, and there's only so much time they have given the rest of the show. So, Shotzi made pretty much quick work of all her opponents, and her last opponent was Dakota Kai, who eventually defeated Shotzi Blackheart with the Goda Kick, which has to be the stupidest name and has to be the stupidest move. This shit looks so dumb. That shit is so dumb and it's so stupid. Whatever. Dakota Kai, she's beautiful, she looks good and all that, but you really need to work on that. That shit is so dumb. But anywho, that's just my opinion on that match. I like the way that, you know, they built Shotzi up during that match. You know, they gave her wins over some formidable opponents, you know, except for Aaliyah, because she's not shit. Deonna Purrazzo is a great in-ring talent. Xia Li is coming to her own. I remember for a couple episodes ago of NessXT, I really wasn't a fan, but that match that she had against Shayna Baszler opened my eyes to, you know, if she has somebody of a certain caliber, then that can bring out her in-ring work. Again, Aaliyah, not really worried about her. And, you know, Kaden Carter, I always talk about Kaden Carter when she's on NXT. How much I'm a fan, and when I can't wait that they use more of her. But I feel as though the way that, you know, they had Shotzi run through those guys and come into a brick wall with, you know, Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez at her side, you know, that makes for a great story. Because Dakota, let's be honest, Dakota Kai needs this momentum, you know. I'm not saying that she's going to win this whole, you know, the gauntlet match was for contestants in the NXT Women's Ladder match. But it was good adding that element to the match, you know. So just looking to see where they're going to go from with that, where they're going to go next. Then they had Charlotte and Rhea Ripley video package. You haven't seen and heard all that. Nothing for me to say. Next match on the card was Kushida versus Joaquin Wilde. This is a decent match. A lot of fast-paced action. Obviously, these guys are both, I guess, under the WWE banner. They would be considered cruiserweights. Obviously, you know, Kushida is one of the most decorated junior heavyweights coming out of Japan, and Joaquin Wilde, formerly known as DJZ, was one of the prominent pieces of the Impact X division while he was there. So these guys had a nice match. What I liked about this match, Kushida was kind of showing a mean and cocky side. Not a mean, but a real cocky demeanor to him in this match. I'm not going to say he was like on his way to a heel turn or anything like that, but he was coming out like you know, he knows his worth, you know, and he just knows that he's better, and I really got that vibe out of him, you know. I feel as though they could be doing more with Kushida. Obviously, they're using, you know, they're going to use and got to give so much time to everybody, but, you know, that's one of those guys, when you see them in the crowd at a takeover, you know, that usually means big things after the fact. But, you know, so much going on at the moment, you know, just going to be patient and see where it goes. But again, this match was very good. Kushida got the win. He won via armbar, pretty much submission. So, but after the match, Raul Mendoza, no, I'm sorry, not Raul Mendoza. Joaquin Wilde gets abducted by the same two masked men, just like Raul Mendoza, and it's funny because I think they both had faced Kushida, and then they both get abducted. That's definitely something to think about. Now that I think about it. Anywho, moving on to the main event. It was Keith Lee versus Dominik Dijakovic versus Damian Priest for the NXT North American title. This was definitely the match of the night. All three of these guys brung it. All three heavyweights, you know, that move like they're cruiserweights. That's always great. A lot of spots in this match that I really liked. There was this one Doomsday device-like spot where Keith Lee was on top of Dominik Dijakovic's shoulders, and Damian Priest does a spinning wheel kick off the top turnbuckle, reminiscent of the Road Warriors. You know, it wasn't the clothesline though; it was a spinning heel kick. Also, there was a spot where Damian Priest hits a razor's edge onto hits Dominik Dijakovic with a razor's edge, throws him out of the ring, throws him onto Keith Lee. Keith Lee catches him, but immediately Damian Priest follows that up with a step-up plancha. Again, a guy that's like 6, I think they say he was 6'5", you know, just flipping through the air like he's 5'8", you know, like a cruiserweight. There was another spot from Keith Lee. I don't know, my feed was messing up. I tried to rewind it. I don't know if you guys messed up for you guys, but Keith Lee's just fucking power bombing Damian Priest onto the back of Dominik Dijakovic. Like, just kept doing it, just kept doing it. There was another spot from Dominik Dijakovic. You know, he does the, again, more of these giant-like individuals doing things that you wouldn't expect them to do. At this point, you would expect it because these guys just keep doing it, and it's, regardless, it's still amazing. Dominik Dijakovic hits a diving corkscrew moonsault onto Keith Lee. You know, Keith Lee kicks out. So as the match is winding down to the finish, Damian Priest goes for that nightstick that he used a couple weeks ago on Keith Lee. He brings it into the ring. Dominik Dijakovic goes for the Feast Your Eyes, but while he attempts to feast your eyes, Damian Priest uses the nightstick. So instead of hitting Damian Priest in the face with his knee, Dominik Dijakovic hits the nightstick. You know, that obviously does some sort of damage to his extremity. As soon as that happens, Keith Lee does his famous meme-worthy pounces Damian Priest out of the ring. He then hits Dominik Dijakovic with the Big Bang Catastrophe and picks up the win, retaining his NXT North American Championship. Again, that was my match of the night. If you didn't watch anything else, that was definitely something worth watching on this episode of NXT. You won't be disappointed at all. The only thing I can actually say about this episode of NXT that I didn't like was pretty much just too many commercials during the matches. Obviously, it's going to happen. That's just regular. But regardless, I don't like that shit, especially during the main event where the main event and the gauntlet matches where, you know, so much stuff is happening. These are major matches for major storylines in NXT, and they just, like, for most of the match, they're going to commercials. So, you know, I never like commercials during matches, but, you know, it is what it is. Also, I'm just going to come out and say it. Sam Roberts on commentary with Tom Phillips. I know a lot of people aren't fans of Sam Roberts, which I'm not really that too crazy of him either. But I didn't mind his commentary tonight on NXT. It really wasn't that bad. He was making a few points during a few matches about a few superstars. And I had to sit there and say, well, God damn it, Sam, you might be motherfucking right. Don't take my word for it. You know, if you watch this episode, you know, a lot of people are going to write it off because they're like, oh, Sam Roberts, he says this, he does that, blah, blah. But, you know, call a spade a spade. And I agree with some of the shit he said. You know. But other than that, it was just an okay episode of NXT. Nothing crazy. I know we got WrestleMania coming up this weekend. And, you know, kind of expected a little bit more out of the go home episode of NXT, even though there's not going to be a takeover, you know, due to the coronavirus and everything going on. But, you know, over the course of the next couple of weeks, including tonight, there's going to be takeover style type of matches. Like I said, the main event was definitely one of those matches. Next week we have Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa for those that are, you know, still like going crazy over that feud. So there's definitely going to be takeover style shows over the next couple weeks. and we're just hoping that they live up to the hype. We're obviously not getting takeover, but hopefully that energy and everything that everybody looks forward to for a takeover comes to the weekly episodes of NXT. But that being said, this was this episode of Ness-XT, starring me, your boy True Hill Ness. And as always, make sure you like, subscribe, and leave your comments on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Check out all the content. We're still going hard for you guys, despite everything going on. We're just gonna keep trying to put out as much as possible. But what we got to work with, not as much wrestling, but we're still here. We're still gonna work diligently to provide you guys with great content and great news and just great everything. So that was this. This was this week's episode of NessXT, and we'll see you next week.